Last year, I told you about our exciting new plans to integrate technology into the classrooms. Now that we have a semester's experience behind us, I wanted to give you a brief update. In the next few minutes, let's look at what we have done this year, what we've learned, and what our plans are for the 2014-2015 school year. First, we call our program a BYOD program. Well, what's BYOD? It's a common label standing for Bring Your Own Device. In other schools, you might hear it called BYOT, Bring Your Own Technology, or even BYLD, Bring Your Learning Device. These all refer to the same idea. Students bring to school whatever electronic device they have or prefer for classroom learning purposes. I want to emphasize that last point. This is for learning purposes, not for kids to spend their day playing games, texting, or uploading endless selfies to Snapchat. So, let's think about what students have been doing this year. See, we asked juniors and seniors to bring whatever computing devices they preferred. Some of the things they did in class were taking notes, looking up information on things they studied, and working together on research and presentations. Students also are able to give real-time feedback to teachers. The teacher asks a quick review question such as the 3 angles of a triangle add up to how many degrees, and then all the students type in their answer on their devices, and the teacher can see immediately who understands and who doesn't. In another class, students have used an online discussion site to allow them to bat ideas around among themselves. Now, you hear that and you probably think, well, why don't they just talk to one another? What we found is that a few of the more vocal students in a typical class will dominate the discussion. And if you think back to your own class experience, you can see this too. Students who are somewhat shy or who take a few moments to think about their responses often are shut out of verbal discussions. What we've seen is that using an online format opens things up for the more quiet students to contribute as well as the more vocal ones. So these are just some of the profitable ways students have used their devices this year. So after a year, what have we learned? Well, we've learned that students can learn to use their devices profitably. One concern that we had was that students might just spend their time in class playing games and texting, that their devices would just be a distraction. We found out, though, that after the initial novelty wore off, students generally use their devices the way they should. Do some students still get distracted? Of course. But they would be distracted even without a device. And you've always had students who pass notes to one another, who doodle instead of listening, and things like that. We don't believe that the devices have caused any more distraction than what would be the case without them. We also learned that there are many ways to use devices in class, and in fact the students themselves can come up with profitable uses. We don't believe that the teachers have all the knowledge about using devices, but we believe if we give the students a goal, they can figure out the best way to achieve that goal. We've also learned that we need to spend more time at the beginning of the year showing students how to do things they'll need to do. See, we often hear that this generation of students are called digital natives. They've grown up with computers and they're comfortable with them. Well, that's true. But a lot of times their knowledge is limited to being able to take pictures, to send texts, or to do other similar things. They're not used to taking notes with their devices. They're not used to writing essays on them. They don't know how to search for information efficiently. They often don't even know how to change basic settings on their devices to do things like connect wirelessly to our network. So we need to spend more time at the beginning of the year showing them how to do what we expect them to do. Another thing we've learned is that smartphones, and I include the iPod Touch here, are very difficult for the students to use efficiently. Now, students have learned how to text very quickly on smartphones. But when it comes to writing an essay or looking up information on a website and then taking notes on that information, we have found that smartphones are difficult for the students to manage. We've also learned that some devices connect better than others. Some types of devices have difficulty connecting to resources the students need. For example, if a teacher uses our school-wide Office 365 system to distribute handouts, we found that some devices, such as the Android, have difficulty connecting to it. So, what are our plans for the new school year in the fall? Well, we're going to expand the BYOD program to include all high school students. This means all students in 9th through 12th grades will be expected to bring an acceptable computing device to school every day. And our website will give more information about the details of acceptable devices. But all of their teachers are going to be using these devices in various ways in class, so all high school students should plan on bringing some type of device. Additionally, we're going to expand the program to the 8th grade. This will allow middle school teachers and students kind of a trial run to spend this year learning how to use devices profitably in class, how to work out any bugs, how to adjust things for the following year. This is kind of what we did in high school, where we just had juniors and seniors this year, then expanded it to all high school. So for 2014-2015, it will be the 8th graders in the middle school. The following year, we hope to expand it to all middle school. Third, based on our experience, we encourage students to have something in addition to or besides smartphones for their device. We found, like I said, that it's difficult if a smartphone or the iPod Touch is your only device for the BYOD program. Now, they're useful for looking things up quickly. If you just need to look up one word or you need to look up something quickly, smartphones are fine for that. They have an in-class quiz where the teacher gives them something and they have to respond online. They work for that. But when students need to do things like write paragraphs or write essays or look up things on a website and take notes, we found that devices like tablets and laptops work a lot better. Now, we're not prohibiting smartphones. We're not saying don't bring them, and if that's all the student brings, that's allowed. We're just saying that the students are going to have difficulties if that's the only tool they have. And the teachers are not going to adjust the assignments based on the fact that the students have difficulties. Okay, if they have to write an essay in class, a 2-paragraph essay, and they have difficulty on smartphones, that they're still going to have to do it. They need to meet the goals. So we're just saying that we would encourage something besides smartphones. Likewise, we encourage use of Windows 7 or 8 Pro version if you're using Windows. Okay, you don't have to use Windows, you can bring Macs and other things, but if you have Windows, we strongly encourage you to have the Pro version of Windows 7 or 8. We found that the home versions often don't allow students to connect to our network as they should. Now, this has just been a brief overview. For more details, especially about lists of acceptable devices, please go to our school website here. Go to the school website /students/BYOD. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please don't hesitate to contact me at this email address. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to hearing from you.